Title of the video is DIY Biochar. So what is biochar? Biochar is a modern term that we give to any type of organic matter that we put through a pyrolysis chamber and render everything down to just carbon. There are additional minerals that are left behind, but for the most part, the goal is to render it down to carbon. And this is one of the greatest soil amendments that anybody could use. Let's see, there was something that I wanted to look at. So, I should probably, we'll go back to this page. One of the properties, biochar is hygroscopic. Thus, it is a desirable soil material in many locations due to its ability to attain and attract water. This is possible because of its porous structure and high specified surface area. As a result, nutrients such as phosphate and agrochemicals are retained for the plant's benefit. Plants are therefore healthier and less fertilizer leaches into surface groundwater. Okay. Another, I'll go back to that. So the term for an area, it's called pre-Columbian Amazonian dark earth, or Indian black earth, the term is terra preta, which in Portuguese means black land or earth. The reason they call it terra preta, well, I'll show you. The reason they call it terra preta is because, now I know it's here. There you go, right here. See this picture? This is terra preta. This is normal soil. Is because there are areas now they want to credit this to 4,500 to 950. I don't know. They have found this all along the Amazon River, wherever civilization was. They found the terra preta, the black earth. It can say right here, along the Brazilian Amazon, where it won't give me. Estimate that they cover at least blah 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 blah. You can read it yourself. So, charcoal's porosity brings better retention of organic matter, of water, and of dissolved nutrients, as well as pollutants and pesticides, and aromatic polycyclic hydrocarbons. Charcoal's high absorption potential of organic molecules and of water is due to its porous structure. Terra preta's high concentration of charcoal supports a high concentration of organic matter, on average 3 times more than the surrounding poor soils. Terra preta soils also show higher quantities of nutrients and a better retention of these nutrients than surrounding infertile soils. The proportion of phosphorus, potassium is K, I know that. The proportion of phosphorus reaches 200 to 400 milligrams per kilogram. The quantity of nitrogen is also higher in anthracol. That's human altered soil. That's what anthracol means. But that nutrient is immobilized because of the high proportion of carbon over nutrient in the soil, nitrogen in the soil. Anthracol's availability of phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, and zinc is higher than ferrosol. I think that's a term for iron, earth, unchanged earth. The absorption of phosphorus, potassium, calcium, zinc, and copper by the plants increases when quantity of available charcoal increases. Long story short, this biochar is like a magnet for water, for all the important elements that plants rely on. Not only that, but it is carbon as well, which is also important. So the production biomass for two crops, rice and beans, well, these are cowpeas, increased by 38 to 45% without fertilization. So if we put a 2,000 year half-life element into the soil, we can increase our production by 38 to 45% without fertilization. Sorry, I was scratching my head. Now, the earthworms, they come through and they ingest charcoal and they mix it into a finely ground form with the mineral soil. This is called terra preta. Another feature of terra preta this is for the white people, the white man. The white man is a term I use for the people that it's Western civilization, but even China is even people in Africa can be the white man. It's like society, civilization is what I call the white man. I'm white. I'm a European mutt, but I just rag on white people as often as I can. I was looking for biochar has also been shown to reduce the leaching of E. coli through sandy soils depending on application rate, feedstock, pyrolysis temperature, soil moisture content, soil texture, and surface properties of the bacteria. What they're saying is that E. coli finds its way into the drinking water when people use manure as fertilizer. I said this once, I'll say it before, I have a feeling I have to say it 1,000 times. We should not be using any type of manure to fertilize crops. That's disgusting. You wouldn't wash your plates with feces. Maybe that's not a good example. People do it for the nitrogen, but look, animals, any type of animal is another level up, is like a super bioaccumulator of radioactive particles, and is a breeding ground for disgusting, deadly parasites. This is where, for example, I'll give you one example. and even though it's one of many. This is where the smallpox disease comes from, by living close with livestock. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was originally created from having sex with livestock. White people. Oh man. There's a joke, right? It was like, you know, the British in the 1800s, they perfected the art of uh, they perfected the art of manufacturing the lambskin condom, yeah. And then so, but the other argument is that Arabs had invented it for, thousands of years prior to it. The only difference is that the British decided to take the intestines out of the animal before using it. This was supposed to be educational. Anyways, oh man. Another name to look at if you want to look at soil sciences regarding aerobic and anaerobic microbes and the parasites and E. coli that's in the soil is Elaine Ingham. Go get you a microscope and look at the soil, because that's where all these disease outbreaks come from, is dirty produce. Uh, I forget what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So if you're the person who uses animal manure to fertilize your crops, just know that E. coli is leaching out into the groundwater. If you have a well, you're potentially contaminating your drinking water, any other people's drinking water, with deadly parasites, potentially brain-eating amoebas, all that stuff. Feces should be collected and burned, in my opinion. They can use it for fuel. We shouldn't even be raising as many animals as we do, but I'm kind of hypocritical because I have dogs. So I'm gonna look into what to do. I I don't know. I don't know if I can pyrolyze the dog feces, but sometimes on a hot summer day when I'm in the garden, because we have 3 full-grown dogs. Sometimes on a hot summer day, the wind blows just a little bit. I catch a whiff and I'm like, oh, oh. Anyways, let's look at a couple of the biochar. So these are biochar kilns. There's a graph here. The typical way of doing it is with a 55-gallon drum and a 35-gallon drum, or in this case, 2 55-gallon drums on top of it. I have a video on how pyrolysis works. Might as well click here. So here's the fire. The air goes in through this way because the fire's here. The heat will go this way, and the air will get sucked in this way. Now, inside of this smaller chamber is the wood that doesn't get caught on fire, and in this outer chamber is where the fire potentially reaches, and that's how pyrolysis is made. This inner matter is starved of oxygen, therefore it cannot ignite, because oxygen is one of the 3 main principles of fire. So this is biochar. It gets all the way, the model that I used, hold on, let's see if it pops up. So people go crazy with it. They do open kiln too. It's not as precise, I think I'd say. People get crazy with it here. This guy wanted to make more of it. I mean, it's one of the most valuable gardening resources out there. more important than compost. Compost is funny. People take the time to compost. I rarely do it. And now that I've actually got biochar down, I'll be doing even less composting. This guy went large scale with it. I'm trying to find the paint cans that I did. I just used paint cans because it was cheap. I had a 5-gallon bucket laying around the house, and then I just went to the paint store and I got a paint can just like this, exactly like this. And then I threw a even smaller paint can on top of it for a chimney stack. There was a better picture. But it gets industrial sized because I used to buy it by the bag from an industrial company, but it's expensive. And that's what it looks like. And in the description of the video, I linked a presentation by Living Web Farms. It's 5 links. It's a few hours worth, but they go real into depth and break down all the science behind it. It's one of the most in-depth ones that I can find, and I'm just going to show you. And I'm going to talk about this at some point in time in the future. The carbon Buckminster fullerenes, the 666 molecule. Whoa, 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 whoa. How did I misspell that? Anyways. Oh, Buckminster. Derp. So this is carbon. This is the latest discovery in life extension technology. It is C60. The reason why I call it the 666 molecule is because it's got hexagrams inside of it. It's C60 carbon. Boom. And a person can live forever if they administer this intravenously. Let's look at... Okay, never mind. That wasn't another thing I was looking at. But this is Buckminster fullerene C60 molecule 666. I'll talk about it later on. Life extension technology, conquering death, or rather conquering aging. A car accident, or getting thrown into a lava pit, a bullet to the head, that'll all kill somebody, regardless of how much C60 they have in them. But carbon is also edible, and I also don't buy into the carbon footprint stuff. But here's a little clip of them eating the biochar. It's kind of funny. This is how we really mean to take a bite out of our carbon footprint. I think if we change the language around away from the whole carbon footprint thing and appropriately name it the pollution or the energy footprint, but the carbon footprint is just a way for the government to control us. So any carbon tax will be met with, I mean, I don't even pay taxes to begin with, but you know, I worked my whole life cash, even laundered checks, as many as possible. I mean, any type of carbon tax, if they say I can't burn fires in my backyard or use a wood burning stove, it's just time to pull out the guns and start killing government officials. End of story. And the fun part after that is killing the people who don't want me killing it, government officials. That's the fun part, because they won't fight back. So this is how we really take a bite out of useless humans. I mean, our carbon footprint. It's kind of, you know, dad jokey. Look.
This is how we really mean to take a bite out of our carbon footprint.
Good stuff.
He said it's good stuff. Now, yeah, you can eat carbon, and you'll probably get some carbon into your bloodstream, like past the gastrointestinal tract. But the problem is that it'll neutralize a lot of the stomach acid, and it could cause problems down the road. I wouldn't go as far as eating it regularly. Like people who take activated charcoal for stomach issues, they need to fix their diet, not add something that messes up their stomach. Oh, where was I? Okay, I have some video of me doing a DIY. Okay. Really? Here's the difference. Whoa. So, here's the difference between biochar soil. See how black it is? You might not be able to, but I can see. Do you see that right in the bottom left corner? It's a little stone. Let me show you another one. Anyways, it's biochar. When you get biochar, I used to buy it by the bag. Like, what was it? I don't know. I had to pay like $50 for just like same size as a bag of mulch. I'd pay like $50 for it. And when I would hold it in my hands and I'd do this with it, it would clang like metal. That's how you know biochar. That is soil with biochar. It's just not mixed up. See how black it is? And it retains water forever. This is just regular soil. Might have a little bit of biochar. See how it's just brown? This has no biochar in it at all. It's dry. It's caked. You see that? Ugh. That could be because of the roots though. But look at this. It's not black. It's just brownish, grayish. That's called dirt because it's dead. Soil is alive. That's the difference. Biochar. See this stuff? I grew some tomatoes in this pot. You see, you see how rich this stuff is? Look at the contrast to my skin. It's just so rich, it's airy. It's just the best. The best. The best. I can't say it enough. The best soil and this is the thing. When I filled this up, it was 1 part biochar to 1 part bags of soil. And it's the best. It's the best. I can't get it like, it just feels good to run my hands through it. It's the best. Biochar. Boom. Just like that. Anyways, come here, Dita. Come here. Say hi. You're on Candy Camera. Sit. Come here. Hey. Sit. Good girl. Paw. Good girl. Kiss. Come on. Kisses. No. All right. All right, so here's my attempt at biochar. It's just a 5-gallon metal bucket. I cannibalized it. Here's another paint can that I cannibalized. These are sticks that I picked up off the ground. I broke them down to size. I put them in here. This is going to be the pyrolysis chamber. Okay. The way it works is this will be closed off from the fire. The fire will not get in here, but it'll reach a temperature of above 451 degrees. That's the temperature at which paper burns. And this will be deprived of oxygen. And so the smoke will leave, but this won't turn on fire. And then when I'm done, what I hope will happen is this will just be carbon. For the most part, carbon and then some minerals. And so bear with me while I construct this all and I'll explain it. Alright, so as you can see, well, yeah, so that's the paint can with the char inside of it. And on the inside, well, I've got some more room, but I'm going to throw some sticks in there. The light's not shining in there, but you get the picture. And this is the bucket upside down. And I'm going to put some more firewood in here. I'm going to light it on fire. I got a chimney stack I got to put on top of this, and then I'll explain the process. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I'm impatient sometimes, so I'm just going to start the fire and see what happens. Good thing I'm not a bomb maker, right? Hopefully just use paper. You see how the smoke, so much smoke is coming out here? I don't know if you can see it on camera. But it works with air currents. Once I put this chimney stack on there, it'll be even greater. Once that fire gets going underneath in there, it'll work even greater. As long as it lights the wood in there. It was dry wood, so hopefully it does. So you see how I've got this thing propped up, and the way fire works is it always seeks oxygen. And so with the fire going up, because that's the way heat goes, the only place for oxygen to be at, new oxygen to be at, is going underneath the buckets. And so this will bring the heat up the bucket. And as long as this thing catches fire, I can just walk away from it. See what happens. So the fire has taken. You see how the smoke is coming out the chimney and not coming out the sides? It's because the air is going in underneath here and going up. Now the only thing I do is I come back 2 hours later and hope that I had all the ratios right. No, they're all the ratios are going to be different. You know, the two holes that I poked in the paint can with the wood in it, I don't know if that was too much or too little. We'll find out when this is all burned. I hope it all burns. It's still smoking, so I assume so. Well, I'll be back. Actually kind of, hold on, let me restart. I'm actually kind of pleased with these results. It's not thoroughly burned, as you can see. There's still like some wood here. If it was pure carbon, it'd be black, but you can see. And listen, I want you to listen. Carbon is a metal. It's not exactly classified as one, but under specific conditions on the periodic table, carbon fulfills the metal properties. And that's why, listen again. That's not sticks up against the metal can. That's the metal carbon bouncing around on the metal. Look. Watch what happens when I crush it in my hands. Okay. Yes. There was no fire inside of this. It was in the fire like this. with the lid on it, and it got hot to the point where it was the same temperature out here that it was in there, but there was no oxygen in here, so there was no fire. Remember, the properties of fires requires oxygen. Smoke has to escape, so that like the chemicals and stuff. And now I'm just gonna scatter this stuff in the garden. Oh, beautiful. I have no idea what's... The oil is black gold. These are black diamonds. Woo. First try, I got it right. Maybe I should be a bomb maker. Okay, anyways. So, that's it. Thank you for watching. Over and out.